Hey, so I'm disappearing into the background a little bit for you. It's always a nice experience, I'm sure. So finding a space where you can do twists. Yeah, so some of you are in a hotel room, so just making sure you're not going to bash yourself if it's in an unfamiliar space. So this is our final week, week 5, on going with the flow. So it's this idea, how can we just get the body to feel a little bit more at ease and find movement really, really enjoyable, really fun. So, you know, encouraging you to get out and just really enjoy the movement of running, whatever that is for you. So sometimes that's running uphill, not that often, sometimes it's running downhill, just running in a beautiful place, just really getting into feeling really free in your movement is just such a lovely experience. So with that in mind, we're going to start with our feet just widen the shoulder distance is my suggestion. And we're doing the arms up move, so kind of cactus arms. And what we're going to do is we're just going to twist. I'm going to twist to one side, the opposite heel is going to lift. So I've got a little bit more space to create that turn. So if it's uncomfortable, particularly in the lower back, just restrict the movement so that you know you're in control. Try and keep your elbows broadly at shoulder level. I know they'll kind of maybe dip a little bit. See how the movement feels. So if you're thinking more about upper back to start off with, can you feel the shoulder blades, the upper part of the spine as you move freely as you can from side to side? And see if you can just enjoy that space. Air, sun, changing light. So anything we can do to make it more enjoyable is always going to be a winner. So taking the arms is a bit tricky, maybe in smaller spaces. So taking the arms so it's more kind of somewhere around the rib cage area. So you feel a little bit more movement through the center of the spine, mid-back. And again, you can choose how much you get into your twist as you raise the opposite heel off the floor to give it a bit more space. Take the arms a little bit lower, so you're more kind of getting some movement around the waist, lower back. Bring up that space, get a little bit more energy. Do your best to feel like you've still got length of your spine, so the crown of the head feels slightly lifted. Okay, and then just calm that down. Calm that down. And just going to do things slightly differently then. So we're going to keep the feet on the floor. We're going to go back to the cactus arms version. And we're going to turn and do a kind of double twist, yeah? Off to the other side and then take a second twist. So you feel like, oh, could I just slightly open up a little bit more? Again, if that feels not good for the lower back, then just do what we were doing before. So free up the heel now and see how that goes, if you haven't freed up the heel already. So we're just seeing how it is with freedom in the movement, and freedom in the space. And bring both heels down again. And that will restrict your movement. Just see how that goes. So a couple of moves each side. And then rest the arms down, just take them up a couple of minutes, let them drop. Just allow the arms to just relax a little bit more. Okay, so feet more shoulder distance, so maybe a little bit closer in. We're just doing the spinal breathing, so some of it's easy to see from the front. Take my arms up, soft fist, open the chest, take the elbows back, shoulders open, front of the chest opens, and then we come to the opposite movement for the spine when the elbows come in, chin comes in, bottom tucks under, bottom of the spine, and we just move between the two. So it's kind of like a slightly exaggerated stretch and then kind of a curl into center. And see if we can find, again, freedom and sort of a nice sense of maybe stretch, a nice sense of curl, a nice sense of openness, whatever that means for us. So what's our rhythm? How do we use the breath? Do we just ignore the breath? Do we keep it soft? Do we open up with the in-breath and curl in with the out-breath? Which part of the movement feels like it's really giving us a little bit more energy, freedom? there is any sort of tricky bits, do you need to kind of hold back, or you just need to wait in terms of, sometimes it frees up with time. Sometimes we have to kind of not go to our edge and just find something that's really comfortable and then see if it gets freed up just through that energizing movement. So changing the movement into a twist. So we take the arms open to one side, bring the elbows down, just come back into center to get that kind of neutralized, rounded back, and then over to the opposite side, elbows down, open chest, back to the center. So just moving from side to side, freeing up the movement in the spine. So one more each side. And then back to center, finish to just get back into more neutral, and then relax the arms. Again, just take them up to shoulder height and drop them. Take them up to shoulder height and drop them. Okay, so we're taking the legs wide now. So whatever is your wide, we've all got a different wide. Okay, and then bringing the hands together in front of the chest. And opening the arms out, pelvis can come forward as we look up. And then bringing the arms back towards the chest and dipping the chin in, and a little bit of kind of concave chest goes in. So just moving between the two, that might be an opening and an in-breath. And a kind of returning inwards on an out-breath. So just find a way to, again, find an enjoyment in the movement. So whatever your range is, if it feels uncomfortable to have the legs so wide, then you can bring them a little bit closer. If it doesn't feel good for the pelvis to come out, then just restrict that. And again, sometimes the movement gets a little bit easier. Sometimes you just enjoy one part of the movement and not the whole thing, but we're just trying to get the freedom of movement, whatever that will be for you. Okay, so a couple more openings. And on your next time with the hands into center, then just leave the hands in center. So I'm going to just bring my feet a little bit closer in, because I'm just going to squat down. You can join me if you want to. So keeping the hands where they are, just take your bum down, keep the knees as far back as you can so the weight goes through the heels, and straighten the legs. So when you come down, you just come down to wherever you feel that's safe for the knees and the back. Push from the heels. If you want to, you can kind of squeeze the glutes a bit and push the pelvis forward as you come up. So there's a bit more of an active movement at the top. So a little bit of a squat, and then a little bit of engagement through the thighs and through the glutes. Just do a little bit of a squeeze. So again, sometimes you can feel like you can get a little bit lower. Sometimes you don't. So it's fine to do a more sort of a smaller squat. It's fine to change your distance between your feet if you feel like, no, I can do this if I have to get the legs a little bit closer together. And they all have their advantages. Okay, so next time you come down, just see if you can hold it for a moment or two. And it might be, you know, at a higher position. And if the knees will do it, just rock slightly from side to side. If the knees don't like that movement, just stay in the center. So if it's more about pushing from the foot than swaying from the knees. So it's kind of a little bit more engagement from the ground. Okay, we're going to have to get up from somehow from here. So center yourself, push from your heels, push from your heels, push from your heels, and again, open out. Find a little bit of space again. Okay, and again, just arms up to shoulder level, and just let them come down. Arms up to shoulder level. There. Okay, so we're going to keep the legs, or you can extend the legs further apart. And then I think you're familiar with this kind of winding yourself down by using the hands. So it's kind of like, just helps you get this sense of, okay, I'll get down to wherever I get down, and then I'll wind myself back up. If you feel the back isn't happy with this, you bend the knees, but if you can keep the legs broadly straight, then we're back up, and then we just go back down. So find your own rhythm, your own timing to come down. So you don't need to keep the back of the spine extended. You can round the back and even look, have the crown of the head going down. When you've had enough, you just roll yourself back up. And once you're up, just get the legs straight, the glutes working maybe, if that feels like a sensible, pleasant thing to do, engage a little bit so it gets a bit more strength work into it. And coming up again, you're ready. So next time we go down, we're going to go over to the right leg and then over to the left leg. So working our way down, if you want to just watch because you're not sure what I mean, then you're rolling yourself down. I'm going over to one leg. So I kind of got my body and my eyes and my head looking towards, let's say, the left toe. And from here, I'm just going to slap, tap the side of my leg from the ankle up to the knee. And then just go to the back of the leg, back more the calf. I know I'm making a lot of noise, back to the calf. So you can have a slight bend in that leg, or you can keep it extended, depending on what's comfortable. And then just tapping the back of the knee, or rubbing the back of the knee, whatever kind of feels like that's a good thing to do. Get a little bit of energy there. And then just do a little bit around the quads and a little bit around the hamstrings. So a little bit of slapping there. You can even go up to the butt if you want to. Then work your way down the leg, back down to the ankle. And gently, you can do the rolling movement if you like to get yourself over to the opposite leg. Take your hands to the sides of the leg and just allows a tap or a rub if that's better. Go up and down a few times at the sides of the leg. Then get to the calf, you can. Get a little bit more energy down there. And then the back of the knee, either tapping or rubbing, whatever feels good. And then to the thigh, so outside or quads and hamstrings, whatever feels like it needs a little bit of energy. Up to the butt if you want to. Okay, and then going back down. Come back to your center and do the rolling. So you can start to roll yourself up. If you need to bend your knees, otherwise get yourself back up. And again, once you're up, just extend out, open through the chest, through the arms, stay a little bit longer than maybe we have done before. Maybe engage the glutes, feel the legs strong. And then back to center. Bring the palms together in front of the chest and just take the chest in, round the upper back for a moment. Okay, and then just relax the arms down. So from here, I'm going to pivot round on my right leg and come onto the toes of my back leg. So my front leg, got that bent, knee over the ankle, and the back leg, so I'm facing forward. So I'm not on a tightrope. I've got my toes giving me support at the back, and I've got most of my weight will feel like it's at the front of the body. Okay, so hopefully you can see. I know it's a bit tricky here. I'm taking my arms out to shoulder level, and I'm taking my bending my wrists, so it looks like I'm saying stop with my hands, if you like, fingers heading towards the sky. And then from here, I'm going to take my arms down and straighten my leg. And then I'm just going to bend the knee again, take the arms to shoulder level, fingers towards the sky. So see if you feel like, oh heck, I've got far too much of a gap between my front foot and my back foot. I can't balance. Then just hop in with that back foot And just find what's going to work for you, that you've got the balance. So as you bring the arms down, straighten the front leg, bend the front knee, so it's just above the ankle broadly, as the arms go out to shoulder level, out to the side. You could do an in-breath as you take the arms down, and an out-breath as you bring them down. If you just want to kind of have a cool, calm breath, that's fine. So this becomes a little bit harder than maybe what you've been doing the last 10 or 15 minutes. So just see if you can find that sort of inner stillness in the movement to get the balance. So a couple more times. So next time you straighten your leg, you need to get your back heel down now. So you'll pivot slightly around to get the back heel down. Yeah, just so I can get the back heel down. Happy with that? So going to come into side angle. So I'm putting my bending my elbow and bringing my lower arm onto the thigh. I can then take my spare arm up towards the sky, and then we've done this before. I think everybody's done this before. You take the arm in a circle, yeah. So you come down, and then the chest faces towards the ground. You sweep it up and back. So you're just tracking a circle or a broad swing of the arm. Again, as long as that feels pretty okay for the shoulder. If not, just do small movements with the shoulder, or just, you know, half a. And just do a moon kind of shape rather than a sun shape, if that's the safest thing for the body. So the legs have got to be pretty strong here. So the legs aren't moving, the upper body's moving. It opens out as you take the arm up, so you kind of feel like you're getting some opening, and then you can bring the chest and the shoulder forward as you bring the arm down. Okay, so next time we get the arm up, it's going to help us get back up. Arms out to the side for a moment, and then rest the arms down. Come to neutral position, which is toes facing towards me. And then we're going to go into that first position. So turning to your opposite side, but coming onto the toes of the back foot. And again, just making that, gauging what's going to be safe for you. And sometimes you think you're okay, and then you need to adjust. So on the toes of the back foot, heel feels like it's pressing back, front knees bent initially, just above the ankle. Sweep the arms out to shoulder level, arms shoot away, shoulders relax down, belly in to support you. And then from there, we straighten the front leg as we sweep the arms down. And just move between those two positions. So arms out, feeling strong, belly in as you come down, and then sort of get opportunity to kind of relax. So a lot of the flow movements, kind of there's a moment when there might be a little bit more work, and then there's a moment when we actually stop that tone or tension. We're just trying to create a little bit of release for the body, and then we swing back into a little bit more tone, a little bit more work maybe. So a couple more just floating movements. And then next time your arms are down, get the back heel down, so you know you're safe again. And then coming into side angle position, elbow bent, and lower arm to the leg, arm extended up, see how that feels for shoulder, if that's safe. Then you do your circuits round. Opening up, if you take your arm towards the sky, hand towards the sky, and then bring your shoulder forward as you bring your arm forward, looking down towards the mat. If you can work your shoulder safely this side. So we're getting quite a lot of length through the upper body, through the upper side of the body here. As we take the arm up and take it over, we get a little bit of that sense of extension. Again, legs are strong. So this 1+1. Enjoy the movement as much as you can. And then if you take the arm up, next time let that bring you up, get you back to more like a warrior pose. Arms come down, legs come to face, and then let's heel toe, because we have the legs in this position for a wee while. So just start a little bit of shake, loosen everything up again, let yourself bob up and down through all your joints, ankles, knees, hips. Let the breath out a little bit, just get everything a bit jiggly before we head down onto all fours. So again, if you need to make any adjustments. So coming down to hands and knees. Okay, that you can see. Just do a minor adjustment. I feel like I'm disappearing a little bit there. Okay. So hands and knees, and what we'll do first is we'll extend one leg back. So extending the leg back, and I've got the toes on the floor, yeah. So just the toes on the floor, and then I'm pushing back and rocking forward and back. So I'm getting a little bit of work through the calf, or a lot of work through the calf, but it's just through a rhythm rather than, you know, a big push at all. You're just kind of rocking back and forward. If it's not comfortable for the wrists, then come onto your knuckles or roll your mat up or have something underneath to cushion the ankle, the wrist a little bit. Okay, so try and describe what I mean here. So pause here and take whichever leg you're using, it's on your toes, and just take it out to the side. So I'm taking off the mat and I'm rocking again, forward and back, forward and back. So again, you know, you might think, oh, I'm taking it too far, I need to bring it a little bit back, the foot a little bit closer in. That's fine. It doesn't have to be the same distance as me, just needs to feel like you're getting slightly different sense in the thigh, in the leg, in the calf as you reach forward and back. Okay, so hop that leg back to where it was, so broadly in line, hip, heel, just have a couple of forward and backs again, and then you're going to hop that leg over the opposite leg and do the same again. So you're pushing forward and back, but you've hopped the leg over the opposite leg. So again, I'm off the mat, but I'm on the opposite side of the mat this time, forward and back. And keep a sense of a little bit of support to the belly, and then hop back, and a couple of goes forward and back again, and then let that leg rest. See how it feels. So might get sensation through the hips, front of the kind of groin hips area. You might feel sensation in the back of the calf still, like it's kind of got a little bit of energy compared to the other leg, that is. And then reach back with the opposite leg and do a little bit of, okay, see how this goes. So sometimes my ankle on the left is really tight, so I have to kind of respect that, or the toes really don't want to be worked. So I have to sort of think, okay, what can I do to just ease into this? It might be a smaller movement. And just see if it opens up naturally. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And then taking the foot out to the side, staying rock, forward and back, forward and back. And then hopping in a bit, back to where we were in neutral position, hip, knee, ankle in line, and then skipping over the other leg. So it might feel really different in one leg compared to the other, depending where the tightness is in your own body. Could be joints, could be tendons, could be muscles, could be fascia, could be everything really. And the tightness might come, and then hop back. A couple more goes in that more neutral position, see how things are loosening or not, and then back on all fours. Okay, so from here, I'm going to suggest that we do the threading the needle. So we'll start this time a bit off, and don't do it this way, taking the arm up towards the sky. So we open through the chest, extend the arm up, and then we sweep it under the body. Yeah, take it across the floor and come onto our shoulder, that kind of region. and then you open up again. You might look up, you might not. So just moving between the open movement and the curling under the body. Bending within your limit, yeah. So it's often easy to sort of let the arm be very separate from the shoulder and the chest. To try and make it just an extension, getting support for the opening rather than your shoulder going further back than your chest. Keep that kind of alignment and that integration between arm and the trunk. So one more on this side. And then land. Get your breath back for a second, and then other side, extend up, extend up, and arm goes under the body. Just see what space you've got, the neck. So again, sometimes it's too strong for the neck, and other times it feels like, oh no, I've got plenty of space here. It's a really nice opening. But again, find your own sense of flow, your own rhythm, your own range. Then one more, as we extend up, curl under, back to neutral just for a moment. So we're going to go onto our back next so we can give the wrists a rest. So find your way to your back. So just hold it for a moment, actually. Just watch the screen so you can just see what I'm doing, because I don't think we've quite done this before. So we're going to go up into bridge with the supported arms, yeah, robot arms in a moment, and we're going to kick up, yeah, so kicking one leg up, the other leg up. But we also, which I don't think we've done, we're going to cross the ankle over the opposite thigh, let the knee come out for a second and swap over. So just so you know what we're going to try, you don't have to do that if you don't feel comfortable. So we'll all start on our back. We want our feet reasonably close in to our butt. Arms into robot arms, so that means about bending the elbows, fingers alive, and hands alive, extend towards the sky. Chin is more in towards the chest rather than rolling back with the head. And from here, we can use both the arms and pick the pelvis up and reach as if you're reaching towards the knees. Get the glutes operational unless that hurts the lower back. If it does, then you just rest that down a little bit. So we're up to where we're up to with the pelvis feeling like it's extended up, feel like pushing towards your knees rather than hanging back. Chest towards chin, and then from here, trying to keeping the legs where they are, i.e. keep the positioning and the support from the center, then just kick away so you're reaching out with one leg to extend. So the stable leg enables the pelvis to stay exactly where it is. You don't start to flop. That's the idea anyway. So if you've gone up too high, you come down a little bit. It's nasty for the back. You definitely come down. Just bring your knees into your chest for a moment if you need to. So a couple more kicks or extensions through the leg. And then pause. Try and keep the pelvis up if you can. And then just hooking the ankle over the opposite thigh. Take the knee away. Take care, get your leg back down in the right position, and then do the opposite leg. So about 3 times for each leg. So it's quite strong just to keep yourself in a stable position. And sometimes the legs do all sorts of things, and they won't really open. So just don't strain or force, just see what's possible through that range. Okay, so we've probably done at least 3 on each side now. So gently bringing the back down to base, land, and just bring the knees in towards your chest so you can take your hands down on your shins. Now do little circles or rock side to side or whatever feels like might be quite pleasant. Just relieve the lower back and extend through the lower back. If you're doing circles, then just go in the opposite direction, circles on the lower back. Breather, just a little bit of an extended sigh out, so it's good to just release tension. Okay, and then we're going to come over to our side or rock up And we're just going to sit for a second or two. So we're going to be sitting with our legs crossed if you can do that. So I didn't suggest any support. So if you can manage to sit, given what we've done. And then I'm going to take my hands over to one side and reach down. And over to the other side and reach down. Now, sometimes that feels a strain for the knee. So if it does, then you can just do smaller movement, just taking the arm, one arm over, go into a little bit of a side bend. So again, just enjoy a little bit of movement side to side, just rocking. So we will go on to kind of go to one sitting bone and then the other sitting bone. And then when we've done equal on both sides, we can bring the feet to the ground, taking them wider than kind of a mat distance, so wider than shoulder distance. Just push down for a moment, bring the chest forward and feel like the sitting bones are kind of going in towards the ground. If you can maintain that, it's good. Don't worry if you can't, then just let the knees drift over to one side. So one knee will come to the opposite heel or opposite arch and then go to the other side. So just finding your happy kind of rhythm. So, and again, you might not want to get your knees all the way over, or they will just want to go today. Just unraveling ourselves a little bit. We might walk across the room by this movement. The hips start moving, butt starts moving. So a couple more times each side. And then cross your legs again for a moment. Shake out the wrists. Hey folks, so we've done, our work is done with flowing. So this idea of twist, rhythm are really good to just kind of get to any part of the body. The tapping, the shaking is all really useful to just get warm and energized. So have a great springtime. I will see you more in the summer in June. So thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.